you and welcome back to our Ground Zero program. We are today discussing about the World Ocean Day and how the tide is changing in terms of trends that is happening on the oceans. We have a very rich panel of experts who are talking to us about the various aspects related to ocean and the changes the ocean is undergoing and its direct impact on human life. So we start again with Dr. Ramesh Kumar, who is a climate change specialist. Sir, you have explained in detail how climate change and ocean is connected with each other. Since we are again we are sitting on a coastal state, and coastal regions are the ones that are first bearing the brunt of your climate change. What kind of weather pattern or especially rain pattern changes you are seeing on Goa due to climate change?
Okay. Let me start with that. Actually, the sun is the major driver for weather and climate, and 93% of the solar energy is absorbed by the oceans, and the top 3 meters of the ocean contain as much heat as the entire atmosphere. Remember, atmosphere is one thing and oceans top 3 meters hold that. And coming back to Goa, if you look at this particular year, the pre-monsoon showers in Goa, when I say pre-monsoon showers from March, April, May, we had a deficit of about 56%. It was hotter and hottest. There was hardly any rains. If you compare that with actually places like say Gujarat had 863% excess rainfall in this season, same season when we had actually a deficit of 5th. And our neighboring states like say Maharashtra, it had about 163% excess, and Karnataka has about 6% excess. If you take the entire Indian subcontinent, we had actually 12% excess of rainfall. Now coming back to the climate change, you mentioned about being a coastal state. The temperatures of sea are warming, the fishes will migrate. Either they will migrate to the cooler waters or they will go deep down. Both are actually difficult and dangerous. They may become even extinct even. So fishes which are actually in the places like say Kerala and Tamil Nadu migrate either to the cooler waters or wherever there is actually enough primary productivity is there, or they will go deep down. So this is a dangerous trend. Not only that, if more and more of carbon dioxide is absorbed, that's also bad actually for the coral reefs. And if more and more of acidification is also bad, especially like say shellfish like say or clams or Thistrio, which Goan people are very fond of. So either the fish will migrate or die or become extinct. So this is actually very dangerous.
Vanish from the plateau.
Exactly.
This is apart from the extreme climate events that we see.
Yeah, I am coming to the extreme climate event. In fact, when we say basically there should have both temporal and spatial distribution of rainfall. When I say from 1st June to 30th of September, there are some, even in places like say Goa, we have extreme rainfall events or intense rainfall events. What should have fallen on 1 week or 10 days or 1 month falls in one particular day. Imagine. That's actually bad, whether it's for agriculture or for drinking water or whatever. We cannot eat 10 days food in one time. Okay. So basically it should have been spatially and temporally distributed. So we had such events happening more and more. So extreme rainfall events are going to come more and more. And there will be a prolonged break in between. So the amount remains same, but you have several extreme rainfall events in between the 4 months and with prolonged breaks, which is actually very bad for the agriculture, whether the kharif or the rabi crop. Both it is affecting, and it also affects your wildlife. It affects the biodiversity. So, and agriculture. So it is, let us say, all pervading. The climate change is actually all pervading, not only for agriculture, your wildlife, for the biodiversity, everything is actually affected by this extreme rainfall events or intense rainfall events, which are increasing with the time in this climate change scenario or a global warming scenario.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your inputs on climate change and Goa especially. Sir, coming to noise pollution and Goa, we have been seeing big bridges being built, and a lot of commercial activity has also increased with Goa trying to portray itself as a commercial hub, and it is actually a gateway to entire subcontinent on the western side after Mumbai. So how do you see the impact of this commercial activity on Goa shores on the noise aspect and the marine life, the fishes especially?
At this moment, the direct measurement is not taken because there was no connectivity between those who are making experiments and those who are building the bridges. Goa, we had a lot of activity, tried to make some measurement, but you need some objective set right from beginning. The continuous pile driving, how much noise is coming up. Once we have given some interview somewhere about that. I can tell about the Goa, the noise pollution effect. So directly saying the effect of noise pollution is the second level of observations, and we are not ready for that. There is a group called International Quiet Ocean Experiment Group, which is a sponsor is a SCORE, Scientific Committee of Ocean Research, and POGO. So that group has formed in 2015. There is a big meeting, and 16, 17, its foundation is made in 2016. NIO was a member of that group, 16, 17, 18, I was there in the meeting. The interaction has helped me to know about a lot of things, though we are doing passive measurement, passive acoustics measurement. NIOT has the bigger manpower. They are covering sometimes some areas, and some of the international funded groups are also working. But visibility is not very poor, not very good actually. So we tried to, what we did is that when there is a pile driving, we wanted to make a measurement. By the time we started all these things, the pile driving activity was over. So what we concentrated on the Grande Island area, and we made some measurement over there. The thing is that the variability within the year and within the day and night is so much for the fishes. So you require a long-term data to predict something about the effect of this environment or this. So we collected some data in the Grande Island, River Sal, which is another important thing, and another was this the Juari mouth, some of the Mandavi. So we got new fishes, the sound we recorded. But another challenging problem, worldwide problem, is that they are now making the library to collect those things so that we can match. But for us, it was at an individual level requesting some scientist and matching, oh, I found in Goa water this kind of fish.
So when we come to noise, the fish need a more quieter ambience for breeding and to grow. But if the noise keeps on traveling, and since it is temperature is increasing, and you are saying that sound waves travel faster in high temperature, so is there a possibility that the fishes could be moving away from the Goa coast or going further away for quieter areas for breeding, and that could lead to vanishing of various fish species, like Ramesh Kumar sir said about the climate change, rainfall pattern change, that going affecting our marine species. Do you think the noise pollution can also lead to further vanishing of fishes from our plate?
Fishes, I just wanted to say you that the fish movement is per day and night is so dominant, and you can see in dawn and dusk the fish sound is dominant in the night time. In daytime it is not there. Okay, so there is some variability exists within the particular day. So similarly, but we have observed one thing to answer your question, that is the marine mammal movement is dominant, affected. Because we have recorded the humpback whale here in the Goa coast from the Grande Island. We have found that 9 days movements we have recorded and published it also. So we found that we have no data, because even in the Kochi coast also NIOT has recorded humpback whale. But it is very less understood from the biology point of view why the humpback whale is coming and what time is they are coming. Actually, they are coming for the breeding, somebody says. Some say about the your food. So it is not very clear. It's very unclear. The data is very limited. So the question is how the pile driving is being affected. It is worldwide proof that pile driving generates 170 decibel of sound, and it is going to affect your ear under sound, because when sound movement is faster, become very source level is very high. It's going to affect ear, and for the fishing, their fish production, all these activities are dominantly affected because of the pile driving, other things, because fishes communicate among themselves before their reproductive activity. So they have the communication among themselves, and they, so if there is a outside sound, background sound is more, so it is masking their sound. So they cannot communicate. They cannot listen. So that is quite natural for the mammal and for the fishes. Their activity is severely affected, so they will look for different environment and go away. So there should be a monitoring system to know that what I am doing there, pile driving. So we should have to know how much it is affecting. That monitoring system is not in place. There are some solution also. I am telling you in advance. There is a bubble production method. If you generate bubbles around the experiment area, so these bubbles will stop the movement of the sound. The bridge and other things, what is the pile driving sound, they will stop. There is a measurement, but these are not in place, and internationally we are not aware of that. So that is why IQOE group is being formed, and they had the big arrangement, and it is started in the 2016 to 2025. 2025 they are going to make some recommendations so that how to control and what to do. In this regard, I will tell you one more thing. Near the Boston, there is for harbor, there is a lot of shipping arrangements are there. So they made an arrangement, a lot of reefs are there also. So they made an arrangement to make how to save the ship can go away from the protecting the reef. So this kind of things may come up in near future. It is not in place in today, but tomorrow it is going to come, because when 90% of the living things are in the ocean, within the ocean, to protect their life, it will be very interesting.
Because we are dependent on them. So
Yes, there is certainly tomorrow monitoring system will come. But here the scientists in India, scientists are working on individual level. They are collecting small funds and they are doing. I don't think the people are aware of that. If people are aware of this activity, I think the program we are making of the inclusion of noise pollution, it will make the awareness. Once people demands will be there, so they will certainly come out with some demand, so state will come out with funding and other things. So one particular thing I will tell you, we have recorded the one type of fish in the Grande Island. They have the frequency and source level is different, one type. But the same fish, we concluded in the Sal River area, out at the Betul, their characteristic shift in the level, decibel level. And I need not tell about the Sal, what is condition now. Yesterday also something we saw in the paper. So these observations need a group of people working on the project, and they are giving their time, because everywhere you cannot go and take the sample and do it. World is moving faster. You need one hydrophone in one place, and it is solving the purpose of defense also. So you want to protect, we want to protect our coastline. We can have a sensor everywhere, and this sensor have one antenna connected to our laboratory, so we can see the movement of the enemy ship or enemy boat, and simultaneously we can see the health of the ocean together. But I think
so you are coming with a package, one free with the other.
Yes. So one should complement others. It should be like that thinking should. It is not very costly. One hydrophone with the electronic fitted, I got in NIO. It was when it was 8 lakhs. Now demand has gone up. It has gone to a UK company. Now it has gone to 17 lakhs, 18 lakhs. That is also cheaper. So this type of thinkings are coming out, and there should be a library of sound, and you can match. And we got some fish sound here, and we have to at individual level requesting the scientists, please send your one voice so we can compare and analyze and see what it is there. This is like begging type of things. So now IQ is coming up with the technique that there will be universal library, whatever you are getting, match with them. And that was the meeting held in Woods Hole in April. And in that meeting, there was a lot of news release. And fortunately, unfortunately, our paper, NIO has published one paper. That paper got the highlighted. And in that, it was not, we found some fish that is everybody is finding. But there was a technique applied called, machine learning technique. While applying, people are not knowing, it becomes so hi-fi. So they started questioning about the machine learning techniques, how you can apply there, and fortunately it was NIO.
Great. Thank you, sir, for your in such extensive inputs. Now, for coming to Dr. Mahua, you have done a lot of research on microplastic pollution on Goa beaches.
Yeah.
So how big is the threat of microplastic pollution to people of Goa and their food chain?
Yeah. So, in Goa, first of all, when I arrived, I started my microplastic research work, and basically NIO's microplastic lab is a pioneer lab in India, I would say. So, when we started our lab, we were developing the methodology. First of all, the most important thing is to develop the correct methodology, because microplastic research was completely unknown for Indian science, and whereas the abroad was quite ahead of us. So, standardizing a protocol first of all was a challenging task for me, and then I started collecting the samples from our Goa coast. So, first we started from the beaches. The most polluted beaches like Kalangut, Kolva, started from there to the most remote beach like Galjibagh and Kedi. We have covered 6-7 beaches, and we worked on their distribution of microplastics. We found quite a high abundance of microplastics. But the interesting part, to 2015 I started this collecting the samples, and we segregate those plastics overall. So, how much is macro and how much is micro and how much is nano, we checked, and then I realized that we have to check temporal, that means after a long gap. So, after 5 years gap, we 2021 we again collected the same beaches samples, and now the interesting result what we found, in 2015 we found almost more than 50% was the macroplastic, like larger plastics, but after 5 years I found the same beaches is showing more of microplastics, like it is almost 40% of microplastics, whereas it was 20% during 2015. So, 5 years gap, that means those plastics which were lying several years, in these 5 years it got degraded and it already formed that microplastics. So, it is a clear proof that how the same area we are getting the more of microplastics,
which poses even more danger than it was
yes.
earlier.
Now, I am coming to the danger part. The part is that then I tried to find out the sources in Goa. So, Panjim area we collected lot of sample from the sewage, which is coming directly from the treated and untreated. So, surprisingly in the treated water, which is after coming after the treatment plant, there also microplastic is there. That means we do not have that enough advanced treatment plant where the microplastic can be removed. But it is not only about India or Goa, it is actually all over the world. The advanced technology is still not there to how to trap the such a small micro sized plastics from the treated water. So, it is coming almost as equal as untreated water. And then we have also worked on the Mandavi Juari estuary region. We found microplastics in the water, in the surface water, in the column water, and also in the sediments. Now, how these microplastics are deposited in the sediments, in the soil, because it is gradually collecting lot of dust and it is gradually buried in the sediment, and then the bottom the species which are benthic, which are lying in the sediments, they are also accumulating. So, now we have got a several data in only in Goa, in beaches, in estuaries, in terms of source the sewage, in terms of the effect in biota. So, we have got a clear pictures that how these microplastics are coming, and not only it is coming, it is staying there, it is gradually increasing, and it is going to our seafood. Now, we are working on several type of fin fish like pelagic fish which is consumable more the more using in this coastal area, and also commercially useful, and also this shellfish which most of the Goan thalis have these clams and all. So, these we are taking more, and we found almost every species have the microplastics.
Which means that not only the Goan people themselves, but also the large number of tourists who are coming into Goa consuming this fish are now carrying this microplastic back in their body, and which will be again back into the ecosystem.
Yes, yes, to some extent these tourists have a lot of responsibility for the creating of microplastics, because as I said, these beaches, these are all mostly tourist beaches, and all these floating populations, these things, these people are coming, creating the wastes, it is lying on the beaches. So now I feel after 5-6 years, I feel the beach cleanup has started. So they are collecting the larger macro size plastics, but then again I am saying already those macro plastics, already those plastics which have been gone to the beaches, those have started degrading and started creating the microplastics. So although from the surface you are cleaning up the beach cleanup drive or whatever you are doing, obviously it is cleaning up overall and you see a very clean beach, but what you can't see, those microplastics which is inside the soil and sands, which is already created. So that is our major concern. First of all, how to stop this, how to reduce, how to control, to face this problem, this crisis. We are in a crisis, and first we have to stop. So basically we have to reduce. First step is reduce, then only we can go for the further mitigation or policies or whatever. But reductions of the plastics and generating of the plastic waste reduction, that is very much important right now. And in terms of the research, what I would say, we have equipments, we have advanced lab, but we need more advanced laboratories, advanced instrument, because recently I have been to UK and I have visited almost 4 universities and 4 labs, how they are working. They are working much lesser work, trust me. We are single-handedly, we are working so many parameters compared to us. They are taking one program at a time, and they have huge fund, huge, the highly developed equipments and advanced equipments they are using. So those were a little bit of lack we have, that we need to do that. Other than that, we are really working good in terms of Goa microplastic research.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for enlightening us on how and what kind of threat does microplastic and plastic in general poses to the ecosystem in Goa. Thank you all our esteemed guests for taking your time out and sharing your thoughts on this Ocean Day with us. So as you just heard our panel of experts, how the various parameters related to ocean is affecting not only the coastal regions across the world, but also our Goa, be it extreme weather events, be it noise pollution, or be it the plastic pollution. The sum of it all is that our ecosystem is under threat because of all these problems, and if we put them all together in one container, we will find that they are assorted problems, but posing as one and posing a huge threat for the human civilization going ahead. So mitigation, mitigation, mitigation is the word. We need to stop the commercial, we cannot stop commercial activities, but we need to find out ways of how we can control and check the aftermath of the commercial activities that is being undertaken by human beings. Signing off from Herald TV for today's Ocean Day program. This is Shashwat Gupta Ray, and I thank you all for sitting and listening to our panel discussion, and wish you all a very happy Ocean Day.